Hey, what's happening, everybody? Good evening, people. It's your boy Rich back with another episode of Real Talk with Rich. Good evening, one and all. Want to salute the Black Comic Lords and the Black Superheroes Forever Squad. Hope and pray everything is well. And as for me, as I always like to say, I'm better than I deserve. So tonight we're doing a show. Going to focus on whatever you guys want to talk about, but that's later on. It's going to be a chat intensive show. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I have some news articles and things of that nature to get to. And as you can tell, I'm not at home. I'm not in my office. I'm actually in the H, visiting family. You know what I'm saying? Today I went to go see my pops, and so I'm on vacation, and so I wanted to come down, spend a little time with him, and I gave my old man a shave. And my father is 82 years old. Well, 81. I take it back, 81. And I can tell you that he doesn't move around like he used to. But I was just so grateful to God for the opportunity to just give my old man a shake. And so I had fun with that today, spent some time with my daughter, and while I traveled here from Fort Worth. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to the fam. Hope all is well on your side of the planet. It's for yours truly, like I said earlier. I'm better than I deserve. So before we get into tonight's show, I want to do a public service announcement. This public service announcement is courtesy of the Black Comic Lords fandom, the purpose of Black Comic Lords, why we exist, one of the reasons why we're here. Had a conversation with my buddy Paul, and we were just talking, and I had been thinking about something I wanted to initially write about, but I decided I wanted to kind of just verbalize it instead of just writing my thoughts down. So in essence, I'm 55 years old. I'll be 56 in September. And as I get older, one of the things that I've noticed and learned is that as you get older, people either they reverence you or they loathe you. And that's no different than when we talk about culture and otherwise. On social media recently, there was a post that went viral about a young lady who had the unmitigated gall to say that Zora Neale Hurston's writing was trash. And the reason why she said it was trash was because it was written in the Gullah Ogeechee lingo or Black English. And she just really didn't understand it at the end of the day. Now, sometimes people are just ignorant to be ignorant, and I get it. But this was somebody that, quote unquote, touts herself to be intelligent. Not too long ago, there was a social media influencer who made some statements about Dr. Martin Luther King and saying that he wasn't a great man because he had some infidelities. And I remember recently, a few years ago, talking to a sister from Ghana and her not knowing who Marcus Garvey was. This disconnect that we have, this new generation, millennials, Gen Zers, whatever. And I'm not going to fault them for not knowing or for not understanding. And some will say, well, it's the Gen X's fault. It's the baby boomers' fault. Listen, I ain't taking credit for none of this. I ain't taking credit for none of this. Trash thinking is trash thinking. And the thing is, the reason why I bring all of this up is because I am anticipating the day that I'm gonna have to hook somebody in their jaw behind Black artists. Right now, AI is the bomb, and AI is getting a lot of people hot and bothered. They think it's dope. They think it's amazing art. Not yours truly, but I like old school. I like people that draw with big pencils. I like people, even if you use a tablet, using your hands. Skills, not computer generated stuff. Okay. But I can actually anticipate somebody saying that Billy Graham's art is trash. I can anticipate somebody saying that Dennis Cowan is not a good artist. I can anticipate that. And the reason why I say I can anticipate that, because as we grow and as we progress in technology and with time, people forget. Just like that sister that didn't know who Marcus Garvey was from the continent, no less. Just like that woman that had the nerve to say that Dr. King wasn't a great man. That the job she has, her folks, all the things that are direct contributions of what that man's contributions to our community has been. She's able to do what she does because of Dr. King and others who marched with him for civil rights. Just like the woman who didn't understand Zora Neale Hurston, calling her work trash. I guess you never read no Paul Laurence Dunbar or any of our scholars from back in the day. It's crazy how some people think. But given this generation and given the attitudes and the entitlement of this generation, because of the technology, because of the strides that have been made, because there's no cost that has been paid, you can copy and paste literally a degree in today's society. You can literally Google your way to a college degree without even thinking. I don't know, somewhere along the line, we have mistaken intelligence for wisdom or intelligence for being smart. Or if you have a few dollars in the bank or in your pocket, you're somehow intelligent and no one can tell you nothing. Very, very crazy generation that we live in. But I bring all of that up to say that if I ever come across someone who has the nerve to say that, and I've had that happen actually one time to me once. I had a Ebon shirt. I was in a bookstore and I had a shirt. Shout out to Jay Winston Napoleon. He did a shirt for me based on a page in the book Ebon or Evan. And he looked at my shirt and he looked at me, he just pointed, he said, I can draw better than that. Of course, this was an idiot. He didn't know. And when I call him an idiot, that's being nice. Because I could have called him several things, but I didn't. But I tried to just educate him on what he was looking at. And so this generation that knows nothing about discipline, that knows nothing about sacrifice, that knows nothing about what it really takes to get the ball rolling. The reason why you're able to do what you do, even the reason why you can actually form a sentence, is because of what people did before you came. It boggles my mind how some people think. But that's the generation that's out here, talking crazy, talking reckless. How dare someone would say that about Zora Neale Hurston, one of our elder statesmen in the terms of literature and recording our history. For someone to say that her writing is trash because she chooses to enunciate or talk about or write in the Geechee or Gullah language. Know nothing about history. But hey, that's the reason why they fight for critical race theory. So we can have idiots like that make them kind of statements. It is what it is. But when it comes to this art, Black Comic Lords is here for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons why we're here is because we want to educate, speak on these Black creatives, these Black characters, things of that nature. We can't fall asleep at the wheel and let somebody say something stupid like Billy Graham is not a good artist because you got this AI generated art that's got you believing that's the John Blaze stuff. No. I don't care what they're doing in Japan. I don't care what you call anime. I don't care about none of that stuff. Ain't none of it can hold a candle to Billy Graham or to Matt Baker or to Dennis Cowan. So I'm shutting that down before it even gets started. Okay? We're not going to do that here. So if you come up in here with that energy, just understand, you mess with the bulls, you're going to get the horns. But when it comes to Black Comic Lords, we are here to make sure that our creators get their flowers, that they get their just due, because we are not only a safe space, but we are a base for Black collective, Black creators, Black comic book collectors, and the like. That's all I want to say on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and reset. I had to get that off my chest. I still got more to say on the subject, but I don't want to be here just ranting and raving. You know what I'm saying? So Derek, please take us to commercial break. Maybe we can talk about a little bit about Billy Graham. How about that? We come back and we reset. We'll get started with tonight's show.
Dear Mr. Billy Graham, I know this letter is late, but you know what they say, better late than never. And I'm writing to you because I know you'll never read this or hear this. It's a measure of therapy for me, I guess. Wondering how you never get mentioned when you are really only one of the few worth mentioning. After all, I don't think Sam and Dave had you in mind, but without question, you are a soul man. How else can you explain how a man can draw tears so well if he never shed any tears of his own? Yes, and I hear music, especially drums, when I see jungle action panels. And when I see Luke Cage panels, I hear the jukebox blaring out horns in the after hours joint. I guess I'm trying to say, Mr. Graham, that I dig your style, and you deserve to be celebrated like the heroes you drew. Like I said, you won't see or hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank you, Mr. Billy Graham. You are a Black history legend. Respectfully, the Black Comic Lords. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, peace.
Yo, we back. Shout out to Billy Graham. Shout out the whole fam. What up, Gordon? What's going on, Chad? How you doing, sir? To all the chat, salute. You good, Pericles? Thanks for joining us on tonight. It's all good. We just getting started. We just getting started. So we're going to transition and get to our segment of the show called Low Hanging Fruit. That's a segment of the show where we just talk about whatever is in the news, that kind of thing. I offer my social commentary, and yeah. So first item up on the show. Comic book creator Scott Adams. This has been in the news a few days already, right? But this comes courtesy of thehill.com. Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert comic strips, says he intentionally tried to create controversy when he called Black Americans a hate group, arguing people took his words out of context and that the outrage is coming mostly from white people. You know, first of all, let me say shout out to Dilbert. Okay, I enjoy Dilbert comic strips. I'm not going to cancel Scott Adams because he had a moment. It was a terrible moment. And, you know, it's funny to me when I see people try to execute thought or provoke thought, and how sometimes it can fall flat. In this case, it fell very flat. You know, in essence, he told white people to get away from Black people because Black people were racist. And, you know, the white people were outraged. The Black people were like, you know, come over to the barbecue. Let's talk. Let's have a discussion. Black people were okay with all this. That's the funny part about it that I'm laughing at, is because there's not a whole lot of Black people standing in line to buy, you know, Dilbert books. Okay. Thing is, with a cat like this here saying what he said, he's made his money. You can try to cancel him. He ain't suffering. So what? They took his comic strip out of this newspaper, that newspaper. People don't even read newspapers anymore. Okay. This guy's worth a lot of money. He's got his bag, and so this is pretty much a hiccup. Some people feel like he was, it was very terrible things, and it was. I'm not gonna belittle what he said, but the truth to me, he just said what a lot of people think. You know, uh, we know Black history, and more than that, we know white history. Words like white flight, for example, that's when Black people move into certain neighborhoods and white people jump ship. They leave. They completely abandon neighborhoods. I lived in a neighborhood where my family started to blossom and grow. We moved to a suburb out of Houston, and we were there when the last white family left. So I can tell you that that's not really a thing. It was a proverbial yawn for most of us because it's like, tell us something we don't know. You know what I'm saying? But as he said, that the outrage came from white people. Why it came from white people, I don't know. Sometimes, sometimes I just don't understand it. I'm not, this is one of those things where I'm going to just let's file this under white people's problems. We're going to keep it pushing. So shout out to Dilbert. I enjoyed the cartoon when it was on TV. And again, guys, it is what it is. But what can you do? This is part of the fandom. So yeah. Our next our next story comes from Screen Rant. Boy, I tell you. Now this story has got legs. This story's got legs. Okay. Screen Rant fans are loving that April Neil is Black again. You know what? Let's say that again. Screen Rant fans or TMT fans are loving that April Neil is Black again. Okay. Now, I enjoy the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like anybody else. I don't claim April O'Neil in the racial Olympics. if we're having a racial Olympics draft, I'm not calling April to the podium. Not doing that. Listen, as much as we want to have representation, this isn't it, guys. And again, as someone who enjoyed the movies, enjoyed the cartoons, things that, even some of the comics, I don't trip about that. He says, I read Kevin Eastman basically partially on his then girlfriend who was multiracial. And I mean, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's cool if you want to bring that, but it's like, I don't really care. I don't care enough about her being Black or white or whatever. But a lot of people do, which is funny to me. Because again, it's not about her. It's about the turtles. When they had the comic book where they made a couple of the turtles Black, some people were clapping their hands and saluting that. And I'm like, okay, they're turtles. I could care less if they were, I mean, what? Are they gonna get the same treatment Black people get? Will they get stopped and frisked by the police? Will they be pulled over driving while Black? Will they be assaulted by the, I don't know. It's just, this is one of these weird things where it's like, okay, here's the funny part to me. One of the most hilarious things about this is that there were people that were upset. They were happy that she was Black, but why did they make her unattractive? I just kind of looked at that and I was like, I'm gonna let y'all have it. Because Black is beautiful, baby. Whether she's plump or whether she's a Coke bottle, Black is beautiful. That's where I stand with it. So I'm not tripping. Some of you guys are just into this stuff. Way too deep for my taste. But do you? You know what I'm saying? Do you, my brother? If this excites you that she's black, power to the people. But if it don't, it's still power to the people. I can't do nothing with this. It's in the news, so I'm gonna talk about it. Seth Rogen, he's not the brightest or the sharpest tool in the box, but I ain't mad at this. I don't think that he, has some, insidious agenda or anything like that. It is what it is. So you can either do one or two things. You can consume it, watch it, enjoy it, or you can just not, there's like 6, 7 different versions of this. You got cartoons, you got comic books, you got video, you got all kind of stuff. Well, if you want to consume Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you can. Okay, you need April to be white. All right, fine. Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? But again, to sit up and give all this energy over the color of a character is just bizarre to me. Because that's not representation. And I'll tell that to the most hardcore Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. It's not. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Get over yourself. This is a story about 4 turtles that were, that became ninjas and were trained by a rat. But you worried about April being black or white. Y'all do y'all. So that's enough about that. Ain't talking about that. So our next story that we're going to talk about is Wakanda. Now, this is pretty cool, y'all. Come from CBER. Disney's Plus upcoming Black Panther live action series, which follows the events of Wakanda Forever, received a working title focused on the secretive West African nation. According to a report from Cosmic Circus, the series' working title is Golden City, which is named after Burning Zion, capital city in the Kingdom of Wakanda. So, there's progress being made. And I'm here for it. I think the Golden City is a dope title for it, for this. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm here for it. Like I said, shout out to Ryan Coogler. Shout out to Disney Plus. Shout out to everybody that's involved. I am looking forward to this. There are other Wakanda themed stuff coming out as well. There's a I guess a spinoff of Wakanda Forever featuring Okoye that's supposed to be coming out as well. So she signed on supposedly in 2021, and she hinted at it during her interview this past January on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So, guys, you know what I'm saying? We as much as a lot of criticism was launched at Wakanda Forever, but we're going to see more shows focused on Wakanda. I think that's a good thing versus them not wanting to do anything at all. Matter of fact, I saw a post somebody put up about them possibly doing away with Black Panther. I was like, you know what? It's too early to be trolling people like this. So we're not going to give that no energy at all. But I'm happy about it. We get to see more Black Panther themed comic book material or shows. That's a good thing. So that's what's up. While we are here, before we go to our next article, can we have a moment of silence? I want to have a moment of silence for the end of the John Ridley written Black Panther run. Issue 15 came out. It's here. It's done. Let's just take a moment and pause and reflect on the monstrosity the atrocity that is the John Ridley run, or as my esteemed colleague Paul likes to put, the outlaw John Ridley. Just a moment of silence. Okay, that's enough. Let's go to the next article. Bleeding Cool. Paul says, let the congregation say amen. So we got some good news, y'all. This article comes courtesy of Bleeding Cool. Michael Dorn and Sammy Barizzi launched Steelworks #1 for Dawn of DC in June. So we are getting a new Steel comic book, and I'm here for it. Steelworks tells the story of John Henry Adams, Steel, and his family working in Metropolis in the new series for DC Comics, Dawn of DC line. Now, there are some detractors out here that are already calling Dawn of DC trash. I will not talk about who they are, except they are who they are, and they don't make no money and they don't get any shine unless they are defecating on anything that comic book companies are doing, because that's how they make their money. They don't make their money championing comic books or characters. They make their money trashing everything. So they're going to do what they're going to do, and we're going to do what we do. And that's salute, this effort by DC. So yes, it's good to see that Michael Dorn is going to be writing a book, Worf, for those of you Star Trek fans. Yeah. So that's a good thing. I am a Steel fan. Shout out to my man Hershey. Hershey put up a post, I think it was yesterday or earlier today, I want to say maybe. But he talked about how Steel ran for like 53 issues. And it did. Dennis Cowan, Christopher Priest did like 18, 19 issues of that run. It was an amazing run. Some people don't like Steel. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Not black enough, some people think he's a legacy character, which is a lie. Steel is not a legacy character. He's not a black Superman. Val-Zod is a black Superman. Steel is Steel. Okay. But like we always like to say at Black Comic Lords, have you read the comics? So if you have read the comics, you would know that he's not a legacy character. He's an original character. You may not like him, but he's an original character. So that's what's up. Yes, there it is right there. Steel went 53 issues if you count issue 0. Let that sink in. Yeah, it went for a while. There are some black comic books that go for a while. Moon Girl went for over 40 issues. I mean, if the stories are good, if the characters is solid, people will buy it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about whether or not we're buying these books or not. Somebody was buying Steel. That's why it went as long as it did. Somebody was buying Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur. That's why that original run went as long as it did. I mean, I'm saying these books will, if they're selling, or if people are find them appealing, they'll buy them. I mean, Christopher Priest, Dennis Cowan on a book, I'm here for that. You know what I'm saying? And it is what I say. Yeah, but he's written like one he feels like a knockoff of Hardware to me. Well, look, I'll say this. You can say that, but for me, it's more the merrier, Dominique, because they're in two different universes. That #1. It's DC, yes, you know what I'm saying, but people think that Hardware is a knockoff Iron Man. So I get what you're saying, but that's not necessarily not fair. You know what I'm saying? And I get what you're saying about, yeah, he's written like one, but he's a doctor, he's a genius as well. You know what I'm saying? That, Curtis Metcalf's a genius too. I get it. But can we have more than one black genius in the world? Can we have more than one black genius in the world? Why no? Why? Somebody answer me this. See, now you got me kind of fired up, Doctor. Why is Mr. Terrific? It's literally written in comic books that he is the third smartest human being in the world. As if being the third smartest human being in the world is significant. So why do people have to make the point that he's the third smartest human being in the world? Somebody help me with that. I don't understand. Mr. Terrific's a dope character, but that's not something I'm going to put on my resume. I have an interview with the Justice League. And so tell me, Mr. Michael Hope, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, I think I'm a great guy, and I'm a legacy character, but nobody cares about the first guy, and I'm the third smartest person in the world. How about that? No. So anyway, I digress. But look, longest black DC title, right? Yeah. Yes, black comic nerds and conspiracy speculation. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just because they both do the exact same. I get it. You know. The question becomes who came first, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if it's a toss-up. I mean, look, Milestone debuted back in '93. Somebody find out when Steel, I don't have my computers and all that in front of me. Somebody find out when Steel came out. You know, possibly Steel was before or Hardware was before Steel. I know this, that they were both in the Worlds Collide crossover together. So it says he says Michael T. Davis said that Louis Simonson made Steel as a homage to Hardware. There it is. So cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at that. I mean, again, what can you do? You know, I'm just happy we're getting some Steel. You know, I'll let y'all play in the weeds with that other stuff. But anyway, yeah. So, you know, again, it's cool. Steel is great value hardware. Ew. Wow. Really, Paul? Well, you know what? I shop at Walmart, so I'm gonna buy Steel. I had to tell another big head Negro about messing with Steel. I'm still gonna buy it. I'm gonna go to the comic shop and I'm gonna buy it. Matter of fact, I recommend you guys pre-order it. Okay, go get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want y'all on here talking about we ain't got nothing to read. Steel is coming out in June. We still ain't got nothing to read. So knock it off. Come on, just go buy the book when it comes out. That's what's up. Support your favorite comic book series. Pre-order before final order cutoff, or subscribe and add a pull list. Thank you. That's your public service announcement for the day. So again, that's going to do it for low-hanging fruit. I'm not, low-hanging fruit. We are going to have a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to get into spotlighting a character today. So take us to the commercial, Derek, and we'll be back on the other side. Stay tuned. Go get something to drink. 2 shakes of a tail feather. We'll be right back.
Comics are different. Those things cannot be returned if they do not sell. Okay, so that means that if they buy 10 copies of Monica Rambeau Photon and nobody buys it, they eat that money. And your local comic shop is, the margins are very thin, right? Times are hard for everybody. And so what that means is that it gives comic shop owners incentive to be very risk averse, right? And so you could order a bunch of Batman and you know that every month people are going to come in and buy Batman. It's often characters of color, new characters, lesser known characters where they're like, I don't know, this could be good, but if I put this on my shelves and people don't buy it, I lose money. And I'm sympathetic to that. That's a real assessment that they have to make. So the way that we avoid that is you go in and you pre-order. So Paul goes in 3 months before the comic set comes out and says, hello, I would like to pre-order Monica Rambeau Photon #1. I'm not going to wait till it comes out. I'm telling you now that I want it. And at that point, they're like, okay, let me go ahead and order this. And in the comics world, that is the sale that counts. By the time you come into a store and purchase a comic book, that sale does not count. I know it is ridiculous. It is very silly. That is the way it is. The sale that counts is when the store orders it from the distributor. That is what they are counting. And so what that means is that when you go in and you pre-order things, it actually gives that store confidence. Like, okay, Paul said Paul's going to be back and spend his $5 on this book. So we're good. If we order this one, we know it's going to sell and we can pay our rent. We're not going to be eating this cost this month. The best thing to do is your subscription or your pull list where you go in and you say, I want you to put these in every month for me, right? And then they will set that aside in a box.
Message.
Pre-order. We are back. So, we want to get into our spotlight. This is a segment where I choose to spotlight a character. And today's spotlight is going to fall on the incredible Martha Washington. You might say, who? Martha Washington, created by Frank Miller and Dave Gibbons. Martha Washington is a young Black woman from Chicago. Cabrini Green Projects. Her first appearance, you're looking at it there, Give Me Liberty #1 from 1990. This is a Dark Horse book. And so I know we love Marvel and DC around these parts, but they are not the only ball game in town. And Martha Washington is one of the few characters that are around where we actually see her complete life. She's got notable books. This book that you're looking at, The American Dream, Homes and Gardens, is book 1 of 4. That's a 4-issue mini that comes out of, but there are other volumes of Martha Washington books, and we'll go to the next slide and I'll show you some of her notable books. This one here, Martha Washington Goes to War. You can find this book in your dollar bins. And again, this is about a young woman, grew up in the projects, trying to get out and trying to make her way in life. And so she becomes a soldier. And in becoming a soldier, she is very, very good at her job. She has a lot of heart. One of the cool things about Martha Washington is she don't really have any superpower. She don't have any superpowers. Her superpower is her heart. She has heart. And, you know, it's like she's not an A student. She's not smart like, you know, like Lunetta Lafayette. She's not a brilliant scientist. She's like a C student. She's like a C student, okay? Basically, you know, she's a, you know, average young Black woman from around the way. But she does something amazing in her service to her country, or in this particular post-despotic, or if I could say it like that, war or world that she lives in. And so there's a number of books, I think it's like 6 in that volume, I want to say, as far as that run goes, but that's another volume of books that you can go grab. And the next slide, I think, is Happy Birthday, Martha Washington, which is a one-shot. I'm gonna tell you something. I want you to get that first appearance for sure, but this is a book that you ought to want to get also, Happy Birthday, Martha Washington. It's an amazing story. That guy there, you can see he's got the stars and stripes on, you know, he's kind of like a Captain America type character. And basically, he's like a super soldier. And there's a part in the story, without me giving it away, there's a part in the story where, you know, he's basically a commodity that the government is using. And so Martha Washington helps him to kind of break the cycle because, you know, with his blood and with his super soldier serum or whatever, through his blood, they can make other soldiers. And so I don't want to give the story away, but it's a good one shot to have. And, you know, she does something very courageous and encourages him. And he kind of like admires her. Everybody looks to him, but he's, you know, when it comes down to who he admires, it's Martha, because she's a soldier through and through. So you should get that book as well. There are other books that you can get too. Basically, we see it's like 16 total books in her run. He says she needs a damn Amazon show. BC also drum up some noise and help make it happen. Yeah. I mean, you know, Martha Washington is dope. And you know what's funny? Frank, this is a character that was created by the legendary Frank Miller. Okay? Let's not act like Frank Miller isn't that dude. Okay? Frank Miller, Daredevil Frank Miller, Dark Knight Rise Again Frank Miller, that guy, he created this character. And from what I understand, he was surprised that this character did not blow up, that this character did not get shine, that hardly no one knows. Only the hardcore know about Martha Washington. She should be a mainstream character, but she's not. And again, he was created by Frank Miller. Anybody that, you know, it's like, okay, if it's Frank Miller, you should automatically go get it. I don't care what it is, it's Frank Miller, okay? But because this is a Black woman, let's keep it a stack, it didn't blow like it probably should. And not enough Black collectors know about her. Because someone will say, well, what's the appeal? I'm like, this is a Black woman. And I think that characters that we can relate to often are the fodder of our fandom, because we want to be superstars. We want to be scientists, brilliant, whatever. But this says that you could be an average Joe. You could be an average Jane, and you can do something significant. An amazing run. An amazing run. And we have her whole volume because, you know, she lives to an old age. And the last book is called Martha Washington Dies. And so, I mean, it's literally like a whole lifetime of books and like 16 total issues. So go get that. So I wanted to spotlight her. It is international. Well, we just had International Women's Day on March the 8th. And so with it being Women's Month, I wanted to salute a Black character. And I could have went with someone like Storm or Vixen or whatever, but now I want to go out the box. I want to give you guys and shine some light and show some love to Martha Washington, a dope, dope character. So that's gonna do that. That's all I have for Spotlight. So guys, like I said, I wanted to talk about the chat. I wanted this to be a chat show tonight. And so I'm done with my part of the show, what I want to talk about. I want to know what you guys want to talk about. We're gonna chop it up. And if nobody wants to talk about anything, I'm gonna go ahead and call the benediction and get out of here. So what are you guys reading? What would you like my thoughts on, or my opinions, if I have any? But I just want to know what's up with you guys. I mean, what do you want to get into tonight? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Angela Bassett and the Oscars. Well, I hope she gets the award. I hope she gets it. I'm not watching the Oscars, you know, because I'm doing this. But I hope she gets it, you know. And if she doesn't, it'll be a shame. She did not win. Okay. Well, there we go. And it's unfortunate because that was an amazing, amazing performance. And I hate that they killed her off in Wakanda Forever. I would have liked to see her continue on as Queen Ramonda. But it is what it is. And, you know, I mean, what can you say? What can you say? Can't believe it's been a year since the slap. You know, and if anybody wants to know, I did see the stand up. I will say it was the most, in my opinion, it's just Rich opinion. It was the most unfunny Chris Rock I've ever seen. I'll say it like that. And I'm gonna leave it right there. I think Chris is an incredible talent, but this was not funny to me at all. Couple of chuckles, but that's it. So what do you think about Eve Ewing writing Black Panther after John Ridley's run is done? What up, Kenneth? I'm looking forward to it. I like the aesthetic, the uniform that they gave Black Panther. The visual we got is amazing. So if she can, you know, play into that and you know, stay within the lines, I think that as long as she stay within the lines, it'll be okay. Because we literally had a 15-issue run of somebody playing outside the lines. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, that comes out in June as well. June's going to be an amazing month, y'all. So we don't have to wait that long. We got all this milestone stuff that's cranking back up. June's going to be here before we know it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a dope run. She's, you know, she's got the Lambo. What she does with it, we got to see. But I want us to give her some time to like build, you know, because guess what? I mean, as someone that loves story, that reads story, I understand something about the science of writing. There are going to be a lot of us that are going to want certain things. We're going to want this to be, we're going to want T'Challa to be this. We're going to want this to happen. We're going to want that to happen. And I'm a proponent of writers, but one of the things that they teach you about writing is give people what they want, just not how they want it. Because the last thing you want is for her run to be predictable. I think that that's what kind of happened with the Ridley run. The Ridley run, as challenging as it was, it started to become predictable. And, you know, it's kind of like, okay, we're already scraping the barrel of the bucket. You know, why we gotta, you know, continue going? It's like we were looking, it was like we're just looking forward to the next catastrophe. But I don't think that we're going to get that with this book. You know, Eve Ewing, Dr. Ewing is very much aware how people feel, including us. And so I think that, you know, she will do a bang-up job. But at the same time, I do recognize that, you know, it's Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? So people are going to want certain things, and she may not give you what all you want. And that's okay. You know, I think that we just need to, you know, let her develop her story and let's go from there. Because again, it's Black Panther. Okay, we got volumes and volumes of this book. There are many different stories you can tell. The story that she's going to tell, we don't know. I mean, we got an idea looking from that cover, but until we actually get to the shop and get that book in our hands and open it up and read it, we won't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to it. I think that it'll be a pretty dope run, but I don't think, if you're looking for T'Challa to put the crown back on his head tomorrow, I think you're sadly mistaken. It's not going to happen, you know. But, you know, we'll see. We shall see. Eve said, status quo, don't think he's finna go back to being Superman. I hope not. I hope not. I don't want him to go back to being Superman. You know, to be honest, Black Nerd Comic Conspiracy Speculations, aka Herschel. Uh, I don't want him to be more like Superman. I don't want him to be Batman, because that's kind of where he was headed. And look, a side note, Batman has become, I like Chip Zdarsky, but Batman is starting to be too much Batman. I'll say it like that. Now, Dominic Smith, Street Panther, I'm all in. That's kind of what I'm hoping for myself. I'm kind of looking for, Dangerous Man Alive. I'm kind of looking for, hoping that they kind of play with that. That would be kind of cool. It's different. Now, Mark Roberts says, I hope Ewing remembers that this is the comic book I get setting up a story, but damn it, I need action. I don't want 9 issues of the Grapes. I mean, again, you know what I'm saying? Mark, I'm just going to tell you that we're going to get, I think, some action, but we may not just get it how we want it. I just think that, the thing about Black Panther more than anything is, especially when it comes to things like Wakanda, for example, is that there's always world building involved. The only world building that's not involved is when he was wearing a t-shirt or when he was watching Hell's Kitchen for Daredevil. You didn't have no real world building. It's the street. It's thugs. Go get them. I don't know if that we're going to get that, but I'm hoping we get something like that. Keep it simple, that kind of thing. I don't know. And again, Dr. Ewing is a professor. While I don't think it's going to be Grapes of Wrath, it might be some intrigue involved. So, but let's all give her a chance, guys. Let's see what this is going to be. Because again, I don't think you can get as worse than John Ridley. He says, what do you think of Evan Narcisse writing Waller versus Wildstone with Battalion from Stone? Now, I am looking forward to that. I don't know how much he is going to really give us Waller. Will she just kind of be the villain? Or will they peel back some layers to her character? Because Amanda Waller, quiet as it's kept, is probably the most powerful Black woman in DC. I like Vixen. I like Natasha Irons. I like Hot Girl. But Amanda Waller is a boss. And so if you read the last run of Suicide Squad, yeah. She that chick. You don't play with her. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a dope run. Evan is an amazing writer, so I don't expect nothing less than excellence from it. I'm just hoping that it doesn't get how can I put it? I hope it doesn't get washed in, if that makes any sense. Because DC has this thing where they put out X amount of books, they do certain things, and a lot of times, if you're not a fan of DC, you will miss some of the stuff that DC will put out. DC puts out a lot of dope stuff. Don't let some of these dudes that be on these YouTube channels mess with you and think that, this is trash, that's trash, they all think everything is trash. They don't, if their mama was in a comic book, they wouldn't like it. But I mean, for example, there was a 4-issue book, Black Label book called The Rogues. I don't know if you guys read that. I recommend that you go out and try to find those issues. The Rogues. It's about Captain Cole, and it's about some of these guys that was on the Rogues Gallery. Got Gorilla Grodd in it. Amazing. And that was dope. Aquaman, Andromeda was dope. But they got so much stuff that's tailored to Batman that you wouldn't even know that this stuff is out. So I'm hoping that the Amanda Waller book doesn't get overshadowed by whatever else that they're doing, because they're doing this Dawn of DC stuff. Superman is going to be, from what I understand, I think he's the head title in this particular crossover, whatever they're calling it now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. The TV show, yeah. I mean, look, I love Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Yeah, I just man, why did DC have to mess up a good thing and unplug Black Adam, man? Oh, I was, let's have a moment of silence for The Rock and Black Adam. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Be sure to check that out. Our recent interview. Yeah. So Richard, have you heard anything about Disney maybe retiring the Austin? I saw that. I saw that, and I'm hoping that that's just a troll post because that doesn't make any sense at all. The most powerful, the most popular Black character in the history of modern comics, and Disney wants to. Because my thing is, what are you going to give us, Disney, if you make this call? I'm hoping that they don't do that. It's not. Listen, Disney need to retire the Skywalker lineage in Star Wars. They don't need to be talking about. And if you're gonna do that, we can have a conversation. If you retire Skywalker, Rey, his baby mama, whomever, anybody got the name Skywalker. If you retire them, then we can have the conversations about what we're gonna get in place of that. Because I'm like, I'm not feeling that, and I'm just hoping that somebody is just running their mouth at DC, and I mean at Marvel or at Disney, and looking for clicks. I'm hoping that that's not true. Yeah, but I did see a post about that today in the space. So yeah, this is Black Adam was better than Ant-Man. Yeah, yeah. I just Marvel is taking these L's. That huge gargantuan machine called the MCU has cracks in the armor. And if that's what you start phase 5 with, okay. Mark Robinson says there are easily 1,000 Star Wars novels. They keep making the same 3 movies. Yeah. It's because it's been the Skywalker stuff has been the bread and butter of the franchise. I'm like, bro, give it a rest. There's more to this thing than Skywalker. Look, if it wasn't for the Mandalorian, I would have no motivation to look at anything. Anything. The Star Wars comics and Marvel is doing are amazing. I ain't even tripping about that. Matter of fact, you could just do that and just stay away from the movies altogether, if that's what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? But we are getting the Acolyte, which is focused on the Sith. The Ahsoka series is going to drop pretty soon too. The Great Batch is a dope cartoon too. So to me, one of the better Star Wars cartoons that you can watch. So there's a lot of material for Star Wars, and like you said, thousands of stories. But they choose to focus on to make these 3 same movies. But for whatever reason, they don't think that the fandom is mature. H&A said the Bad Batch is pretty fun. Yeah. For whatever reason, I think that's the problem. I think that the fandom, for whatever reason, because they're trying to get new fans, but you got these old heads that still in love with that dude that was on that backwater planet, and it's just not about him anymore. I like Mark Hamill, but I like him as Mark Hamill is not Skywalker to me. Mark Hamill is the Joker. Okay? If you was to ask me, Richard, What would you prefer? Would you prefer Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, or would you prefer Mark Hamill as the Joker? Give me the Joker, and twice on Sunday, okay? Let's just put this stuff with the Star Wars just got to go to bed. Because I would like a Knights of Old Republic TV show focusing on the old Jedi before any of the movies were made. Problem with that, Dominic, is that they're not going to do that because they're not motivated to do that. The Old Republic stuff, that stuff is amazing. That stuff is amazing. But what they did, you know what's funny to me? It's funny to me that when they started doing the books, the Old Republic books, like I don't read a lot of Star Wars novels. I have like 5 or 6 Star Wars novels that I've read. I got tons of comics, but the stuff is amazing. It's too much of it. It's literally too much of it. One of the things that I wish that they would do is I wish that they would do a Darth Bane story with the rule of 2. How did the Sith move from this all powerful force to becoming just this master and apprentice type deal? I loved the Darth Bane series. It was a trilogy, 3 books. Amazing. But again, it's too much like right. So we're all holding out for some Old Republic stuff, and maybe they will do that. But again, cost, time, that kind of thing. I'm hoping I'm not worm food by the time they decide to do some of this stuff. But who knows? We'll see. Have you read Wesley Snipes' The Exile? Yes, I have read the Exile comic. Okay. It's okay. I liked his rollout. He had a dope rollout for it, and we'll see where it goes. Wesley Snipes is a talented dude, man. He wrote a book a few years ago called what's the name of it? Sword of Talent, I think that was the name of it. It was pretty good. It was pretty dope. Matter of fact, I thought that they took some of that stuff out of his book and put it in the Black Lightning series. I'm just saying. But I'm talking about the one that was on TV. When I read the book, I read his book, I was like, okay, this sounds, I've seen this before. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to holler at Wesley and find out if they steal some of this stuff. But yeah, Wesley Snipes is dope. Question. Richard, how is it that the new Mandalorian, new season of special effects are better than the 5 MC movies combined 47 minutes? Because Jon Favreau is that dude. That's why. They got a good look. They got a nice squad. See, and to me, when you are putting together a franchise, I liked Jerry Krause that was the guy that ran the Bulls. I liked his philosophy. Organizations wins championships. Michael Jordan didn't agree with that. Scottie Pippen didn't agree with that, but they cannot refute the fact that he put together a championship team that won 6 titles. Jordan could not have done any of that stuff without Pippen, and them last 3 rings that Jordan got, no way possible without Dennis Rodman. And it was Krause that brought Dennis Rodman in. Okay. So you got to have people that know how to move pieces around. And Jon Favreau does that for the Mandalorian. Listen, the Mandalorian is amazing. Amazing. You know what I wish? I wish that we could, like, they doing this thing in episodes and stuff like, man, I would just love to watch this in a movie theater. If they just take all the episodes and just put them on a big screen, put them in a big IMAX screen or whatever, like the special effects that they had in this last episode, where they're in Mandalore, Amazing. I don't want to spoil it for nobody that hasn't seen it, but if you're not watching The Mandalorian and you will call yourself a Star Wars fan, go on and spend that little money. If you're just too cheap and don't want to spend the money for Disney Plus, man, go on and spend that money. Get the I don't know, get the what they call it, the trial. Get the trial and just watch it, try it out. I mean, Mandalorian is amazing. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. Says Normie asks, they could do a Mando finale like a movie. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, look, Boba Fett, Boba Fett was not that good. It didn't get good until Mando showed up. He said, you need to get another channel and call it Ask Richard. That's what's up. But yo, I mean, again, I'm enjoying the Star Wars stuff. Are you liking the Silver Surfer Ghostlight series? I am. Shout out to John Jennings. The writing on this book is amazing. I want the art to be a little better. I understand it is a certain style that they're going for, but I really, man, could you imagine Dennis Cowan on this Ghostlight book? I'm just saying. Listen, if I was the CEO, if I was the CEO at Marvel, okay, and I put together my dream team, I'm putting together a dream team. I want a horror comic. I'd get Rodney Barnes to write it. I get Jason Sean Alexander to do the interior art, but I want Dennis Cowan to do the cover art. Either Dennis Cowan or Chuck Brown. I love Chuck Brown stuff. Shout out to anybody that went out and bought Black Manta when it came out. Best villain comic book written, in my opinion. It's good nobody's ever bought back a dead black character like this from the freaking 60s. I mean, it's I have such high hopes for Ghostlight. I really do. Because again, it's you're talking about a character that Stan Lee created. Stan Lee just recently, I think, had his birthday. I think he would have been 100 years old, I want to say. But you think about the work that Stan Lee did and the characters he's created, right? And the fact that there's only a handful of black characters, but the handful that he did create were amazing. And so John Jennings bringing back Al B. Harper is a not only is a cosign of Stan Lee and his appreciation for black characters in general, but just the ability to, like you say, bring back a character from the 1960s. This guy was a genius, a scientist. We can't have enough scientists, y'all. Put him in the room with Blue Marvel with Adam Brashear, okay? Ooh, I'm sorry, that was a moment. Give me, you know what? Give me, let's see. Think about this, guys. I'm turning into Paul. I have a pitch. Give me Al B. Harper and Dr. Adam Brashear and put them against Reed Richards and Dr. Doom in like a tag team book. He said Richards pitch. Give me that. Give me Dr. Doom, Reed Richards versus Al B. Harper and Adam Brashear. Ugh. Well, I tell you what. And you know what? We put that on pay-per-view. Get Vince Get Vince McMahon on the horn. Let's make that happen. Yeah, man. But no. Let's see what we got. Yeah, he says, are you talking about the limited series? Yeah, that was pretty good. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I mean, you know, when we talk about black villains, there are not a lot of black villains that we can really go to and talk about. You know, Black Manta is the most popular one, other than maybe Moses, Moses Magnum, which I want to see in the MCU. And you know, I would love to see Moses Magnum in the MCU. Whew. Maybe he comes back with maybe he comes back in the Daredevil series, Born Again. We just got the news that Punisher is going to be in the series. And maybe because his first appearance is, I think, Spider-Man and the Punisher. Yeah. So we'll see. I would love to get my hands on that Blue Marvel. It's a shame that there wasn't any confidence in the character, but it's cool that the series is valuable. Well, it's one of the few books whose value is strictly speculation. Marvel has dropped the ball with Blue Marvel. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what to tell you about. I don't like the way the dude look in the Defenders right now. But the Legend of Blue Marvel, those issues 1 through 5. Shout out to Kevin Greavy. That was an amazing limited series. Who could play Moses Magnum in the MCU? Depends. If we want to go African, I know everybody always, who was the guy? Michael Jai. By a scream, Michael Jai White, Michael Jai White, Michael Jai White. But right now, it's not Michael Jai White. It's Damson Idris. He has supplanted him as the only Negro that can play every black character in the MCU. But who would I love for Moses Magnum to be? Some of my favorite actors are just old. They're too old. The guy from Earth, Wind, and Fire could play. You know what? Stop it, man. Shout out to Maurice White. And Philip Bailey, too. Rest in peace. I guess if I had to just pick somebody, I would like to see Denzel Washington in the MCU in some capacity. I mean, we already got Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, I would like to see him in some capacity because again, Moses Magnum is an African, and so if I'm choosing an African, it's kind of hard to think about. I could say, I don't know, man. That's a hard one. The Dames and Interest, the new T'Challa, no one else. Shout out to all my people that watch Snowfall. Yeah. I saw somebody the other day that tried to debate whether Snowfall was better than The Wire. And I'm just going to say this about that. If you think Snowfall is better than The Wire, you really hadn't been watching The Wire, because that's the best television ever done, as far as I'm concerned. That was best five issue, best five seasons of television. What do you think about the last panel of Ghostlight #2? I mean, it was cool, I guess, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the thing, they set these books up. It's like, you know, what's happening there, right? So I don't know what to make of it. Something is going on with the power, or with the somebody get John Jennings on the phone, because I thought that was a little bizarre, because I really don't kind of know what to make of it, to be honest, because Al Harper was kind of like dealing with, he was coming back or whatever, he was disoriented, he couldn't figure things out. And finally, when they were able to quote unquote get him to understand where he was and who he was and that kind of thing, how he showed back up and meeting his family, and then you get this and what's happening with it. Something is going on. The next issue I'm looking forward to, because we'll get to see a little bit of the villain interacting. She's kind of on her way, to investigate what's going on. So maybe that's a part of what's going on. We'll see. We'll see. I just remember thinking to myself, okay, we're going somewhere. We'll see. So do you think we'll get a Luke Cage comic, He's Been Wasted too? I won't say that Luke Cage has been wasted. I will say that he's been underused. We were supposed to get a 3-issue run written by Ho-Che Anderson. We just recently got the news as to why that didn't happen, and we found out what the story was. And I'll tell you this, I wished Marvel would have gone with their first mind and let that book come out, because the story, from what was said about it, is going to be amazing. But they thought comics and some of the political climate was such to where it would trigger some people. And what do you do with that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. But as far as Luke Cage being in books, Luke Cage has been in books fairly consistently. He's not always been a leader. He's been in the Thunderbolts. He's been in Mighty Avengers. He was head of the Avengers. And what is it? Devil's Reign. He's the mayor of New York City right now, I think, coming out of that. So would I like to see him in a book? Absolutely. But Luke Cage is one of these characters. He just had his 50th year anniversary. And I wish they would have done a whole lot more to prop that up. Shout out to our squad. We did a Luke Cage roundtable. Go to our YouTube channel, search that out. But yeah, he I would like to see Luke Cage in the book. Speaking of that, speaking of underused characters or whatever, again, it has been nearly 5 years since Black Lightning has had a self-titled book, DC. I need y'all to make that happen, please. Question: would you like to see a newer, updated version of Black Goliath? I have my condition, and my condition is this: he cannot be pictured getting knocked out on the cover of a magazine, of a comic book. They would have to put, if I was an artist, they would have to put that in the contract. You will not depict Bill Foster, aka Black Goliath, being knocked out. That I would love to see an updated version of Black Goliath, but his history is troubling when it comes to covers. I think he was a dope character, you know what I'm saying, but I wish Lawrence Fishburne would have done more, but it is. So Robert Monroe Jr. says, yeah, Marvel definitely dropped the ball by not celebrating Luke's 50th anniversary. Absolutely. My man says, only person that can bring him back is John Jennings. I don't know. Again, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, guys, it's like we have a lot of black characters. As far as Marvel stuff is concerned, you just got a new Blade book. Well, not a new Blade book, but you got a daughter of Blade, Brielle Brooks. Book is out now. Bloodline, got that. Ghostlight book is out. The black characters in Moon Knight, that's an amazing one. Issue 20 was dope. Getting ready to have another Black Panther run. That's going to be what it is. Monica Rambeau, you got Photon. You got that book out. So, there's the melanin is a little strong right now, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? We can always use more. I mean, I would like for them to use all their characters. They have so many. We cannot wait until John Jennings and Angelique Roche's book, My Superhero is Black, comes out. And you guys will get to see all of these black characters that Marvel has literally on the shelf. I think they slowing up that process because they don't want us going after them after this book come out, because they have hundreds of black characters. We don't even have to talk about the X-Men and all the mutants that are black. We got Bishop War College. There's a lot of black books out, y'all. Dominic Smith says, I need a Mr. Terrific book. Yeah. Now, I will say this about Mr. Terrific. Like I said earlier, you know what I'm saying? He has this distinction of being the third smartest person in the world. We get it. He's a smart guy. He's just not the smartest guy. And, it's I just think that is kind of a sad state of affairs to like just make him, that's his touting thing. It's like Dwayne Wayne saying, going up to a woman and saying, I got a perfect 1600 on my SAT. It just somehow it's like, okay, I get it, you're smart. But with him, we have never, in my opinion, we've had some Mr. Terrific books, but do we really, does Mr. Terrific have a family? Does he have kids? Does he aspire to, have children or anything like that? I'm just asking, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, he's this smart guy that have all that deals with these nanobites, but we don't really know anything. He's just we just know that he's smart. He likes to play chess though. We know that. But I would like to see them do some depth with if they give him. Let me phrase that. I need a book that shows how terrific he is, how intelligent he is. Yeah. I can co-sign that. His wife is dead, was pregnant with that child. See, thank you for depressing me, C. Cole. Yeah. I guess that there is life after death, if I can say it like that. So it's kind of like, can we move on or whatever? But I get what you're saying. But that's the thing about some of these characters or whatever. It's like Spider-Man was able to move on from Gwen Stacy, right? So some of these characters, it's just like with Black Lightning. When Tony Isabella created Black Lightning, he made Jefferson Pierce and Lynn, his ex-wife, like forever soulmates. And so when Brian Hill started writing about Jefferson Pierce and Katana kind of hooking up in Batman and the Outsiders in the last volume, he was upset about it. It's like, bro, people move on. People get divorced. People move to the next. And so all I'm saying about that is, if that is unfortunate, when, being able to, show your characters that they can grow beyond the pain that they may have in their origin story or whatever. Like I said earlier, Gwen Stacy, that was a big deal when they killed her in the comics. But after her, it was Mary Jane. So, let's move. Let's move. The pre-New 52, Mr. Terrific, was better than the post New 52 era. Now, I will say this, talking about the New 52. A lot of people haven't been happy with DC since the New 52. It is what it is, y'all. Johns did way more with him and Jakeem Thunder and JSA. Jeff Johns is no slouch when it comes to writing. We know that. You know what I'm saying? Is he the best CEO? Should he run a company? Nah, I like him to be, write my comic books, John. Don't run the company, right? Just write the comic books. Now, I shouldn't be hating on the man trying to get his bread and trying to, move up. But, clearly Jeff Johns is a better writer than a, CEO or C executive. I'll say it like that. Shout out to Jim Lee. That's all I'm gonna say. That was a shade moment. Sorry about that. That was a shade moment. So yeah. But again, DC is making strides. Milestone stuff. I'm so happy that the milestone stuff is back. And yeah, man. Looking forward to it. Got a lot of dope books coming out, y'all. We cannot say that we don't have anything to read. There is a plethora of books to read, different genres. You like horror, we got you covered. You like science fiction, we got you covered. You like capes and cows, we got you covered. There's a lot of dope stuff to check out. And if you don't like the new stuff, it's always back issues, baby. That's where we live and thrive. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move to Dominic asked the question. Have you heard of Catfight? No, I have not. Tell us about it. Tell us about it. But while we do that, while you say that, we're gonna go ahead and move to a Rich Recommends segment. And I have two books I want to recommend. Basically, Rich Recommends this segment. I just talk about a couple of books, usually a trade and a floppy that I recommend that you go get, check out, that kind of thing. So the first is a floppy. That is Wonder Woman 75. The significance of this book is that this is the first appearance of the new iteration of Nubia. This book here, now, all Black collectors look at Wonder Woman 204 as the first appearance of Nubia. However, DC, in their own information on their own database, says that Wonder Woman 75, this is volume 5, this book is the first appearance of Nubia. The Nubia that's been coming out in these comic books of late, this is her first appearance, this comic book here. So we have an interview coming up, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as we get ready to get out the door. But funny thing is, I wasn't even thinking about the interview because I'm not going to be doing the interview, but I wasn't even thinking about this particular book. But this is going to be a topic of discussion in an upcoming interview. But just so you know, as far as a minor key, Black key, or whatever, this is it. Wonder Woman 75, the Battle of Themyscira. And so there are other Black Amazons in the book. There's a Black Amazon called Maggie in this book too. And Shout out to Black Nerd Conspiracy and Speculations. You're right. 204 is still first appearance. I get it. I get it. I get it. But DC's corporate line says, as far as the Nubia that is out today. Now, are there 2 different Nubias, 3 different Nubias? I'm not going to get into that. I'm just telling you what they got on their website. Okay. This book here, it's what's going on? How you doing, sir? This book here has that distinction of being that first appearance. Again, I'll let you guys argue about it. To give you a backstory about this particular book, I wasn't even looking for this first appearance. What happened was I was looking for more appearances of Black Amazonians like Philippus. Philippus been around since George Perez was writing on Wonder Woman. And I wanted to just find some different Black Amazonians. And so I came up on the information through looking for other Black Amazonians. Just so happened that book there said the first appearance of Nubia. I'm like, wait a minute. First appearance of Nubia is 204. And it is. But they got it listed as that too. Now, Nubia has been around for a while, and there are other books too that Nubia has been in different iterations as well. And so do with that what you will. But that's a significant book nonetheless. A dope book for you to add to your collection regardless. So if you can get 204, I recommend that you do. But you also might want to get this one too. You know, I know that a lot of us are not into Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman is a dope character. She has some great stories. And, you know, it's just about reading the books. We always tell people, read the comics, buy the comics, read the comics. If you read the stuff, you'll be amused and you'll be surprised how invested you'll be in, because a lot of these books are well written, you know. And so again, do what you will with that. My next book is not a regular floppy, it is actually a trade. Now, this is the Brown Hornet, the Omniverse, written by Louis T. Brown III. This is, I would say, not an underground comic. This is a book that is independently written and drawn. Omni Comics is the name of the company. Matter of fact, I do believe that the brother just recently had a Kickstarter. But I was hunting down just new books to read. I've had this book in my collection for a little while now. Matter of fact, I got this copy of this book back in 2020. It's a nice trade. It is very, very well written. The art is amazing. It seems like there's a lot going on the cover or whatever, but I think that does Bill Cosby know about this one? I don't think he does. But I will give you a story. I'll give you a story about this particular, not this particular comic, but one of the things about being a nerd is that you will ask yourself questions. We would me and Herschel and others would talk about the Brown Hornet, because we know that the Brown Hornet is a superhero. We were looking for comic books with the Brown Hornet in it. It's like, man, it's got to be a comic book with the Brown Hornet in it. Never found that comic book. This is the closest I ever came to finding a book with the Brown Hornet. Now, is it like the comic or like the television show that the Cosby Kids would watch? No, not at all. This is very, very, I would say, esoteric. It's very, very deep. It's got biblical elements in it. They talk about the Nephilim in this book. There are, you know, themes of Egyptian iconography in it as well. Behind the scenes, Louis Brown be hustling. He always gives insight in comics on Facebook. Yeah, he's in our space, I believe. But this is a dope book. I think it's a slept-on book. Marcia, somebody did a comic on the Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he took the concept or whatever, but it's not, I mean, it in and of itself, it's not, it's almost like a homage, if you will, but it's a very, very dope concept. And like I said, the art is amazing. It's very, very colorful. It's a lot going on in the book. It's Afrofuturism. And so you should add this to your collection for sure. I know you're not a fan of the art, Herschel. I am, because it's a different style. So one thing about me is that I like style. Your art can be, it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to tickle my fantasy at first glance. But if I can just kind of pick up on your style, then I just like, okay, he likes to do things this way, or she likes to do things that way. Kind of like, some people are, art styles and acquired tastes. It's like beer. Everybody might like Guinness, or they may like Miller Lite, so to speak, but everybody's not going to like Guinness. You know what I'm saying? But if you drink enough of them, it's an acquired taste. And so even with this here, I think that we can't talk about independent, that we don't, that we love independent creators and we don't support. And kudos to him. Why let the character ride? I 100% agree. And here's the thing. Now, I'm not familiar with the time frame on the original Brown Hornet character, but that might be public domain at some point. And if that does hit, that's definitely a character created by Bill Cosby that could take legs. And I don't know what the time frame is on that, but yeah, because we're starting to see some of that even with some goofy stuff with Winnie the Pooh. There's actually a slasher Winnie the Pooh movie that's coming out, and I'm not going to go see it, and I recommend that you don't either. But I'm easily amused, so if it shows up on Tubi or something, I might watch it. Are the arts in the guts in the same? Are the ants or the same as the cover? I would say so. Yes. All right. Let me. Derek, make me big. I happened to bring my book along. I'll just show you some panels. I don't know if I'll be able to show you everything. Let's see. I want to get some good pictures in here so you can kind of see. I know I was going to talk about it, and I thought I might want to. I didn't give Derek the slides for it. So I'll show you this. I know some of y'all love Egypt. Here's some Egyptian slides or some images, iconic images. So we got that. And like I said, it's got dinosaurs in it. It's got all kind of stuff in it. It's pretty wild. It's a trippy book. It's a trippy book, but I think that you dig it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they talk about the Nephilim in the book. It says, "Rich is the brown horn sidekick stinger." No. Like I said, it's just called the brown horn. It's not a direct connection to the brown horn. Like I said earlier, me and Herschel, we would talk about stuff like this all the time. Because it's just natural for you to think like, man, that was a dope cartoon on Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. I wonder if there's a comic book with the Brown Hornet in it. And you could, because there are Fat Albert and the Cosby Kid comic books by Dale Comics, and you would think that they would put it out, but there's no appearances of the Brown Hornet in those comics. It's just Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. And so that's literally a part of our fandom. And we're just geeking out trying to find it. And it just so happens I was on Instagram and happened to run into the guy. I take it back. It was in Facebook. Somehow or another, I connected with him and I was able to reach out to him, and he sold me a book. So other than the name has nothing to do with Cosby, so I think he will be fine. Yes, absolutely. No doubt. So those are my recommendations. You know what I'm saying? Go on you can find this brother on Facebook, and like Dion said earlier, he's a hustler. He's always around. And I think he just had a Kickstarter recently. I just think it's a dope book to have in your collection. I think that everything does not have to be the same. And what I mean by that is that it's good to have variety in your collection. Like I have a ton of Marvel and DC stuff, but if I can get underground or comic independent stuff or whatever, and it's cool and I dig it, I'm gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? So I just would like our creators, shout out to y'all, to make your stuff more accessible. I don't want to have to like play a video game, pop 50 cents in and play a game and go to this level to get to that level, to get to that level, to get a book. Streamline the process. That's all I'm saying. That's what's up. It says we need a Panthro Solar Series right now. Black Nerd Conspiracies. You know what? See, now y'all going down the rabbit hole. Is Panthro black? We're not doing that tonight. We're not doing that tonight. We're not doing that tonight. We had a discussion about April O'Neil earlier, Dion. You wasn't here around for that. We were talking about April O'Neil. We were talking about, people losing their mind over April being black again. Key word, she's black again, which means that at one time she was not black, which means that, so the question becomes, who's right? Should she be white or should she be black? Do we even care? Do the turtles even care? It's not like they're going to go and buy some Afro Sheen or they're going to go out and buy some Copper Tone 15. Can she help me beat Shredder? That's what I want to know. Can she help us get the job done? That's all the turtles should care about. If I was April, that's all I would care about. But anyway, I digress. Well, look, guys, I'm about to get out of here, man. We've been in here almost an hour and 45 minutes. Dominic says, have I heard about Catfight? No, I have not. Could you please enlighten us, sir? It's about a brother who's a thief, a cat burglar, if you will. Okay. Do you happen to know the publisher? So I can kind of like go down the rabbit hole, try to find it. You know what's funny? I have heard of this in passing. I can't say where, but that synopsis, I've heard that before somewhere. So I'm gonna just write it down and see if I can, find it. Mark Robinson says, oh, Seco says, why are they mad about Black April and not Black Baxter Stockman? Well, why does anybody get mad over a shade of melon? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I mean, fans are fans. They do what they do. They say what they say. They believe what they believe. And the whole thought is, if you make a color, if you make a character a certain shade or whatever, the thought is, okay, he's going to represent, or she's going to represent this, that, the other. And sometimes, look, Black people are everywhere. So it's not a foregone conclusion that Black people enjoy fandom, whether it's in a sewer or in outer space. Can a brother get some love? Can we live? Can we live? Can we enjoy what we have? And again, I am a proponent for original characters. But because I'm a proponent for original characters, does not mean I have to poo-poo everything that gets swapped around or whatever. It's like, okay, all I care about is a good story. That's all I care about. Some people are going to watch this when it comes out, and they are not going to enjoy it because they're too busy looking at the aesthetics. Okay, there it is right there. Okay, Catfight. Okay. Oh, it's not even out yet. We have to pre-order it. Okay, IDW Publishing. Okay. All right. Shout out to you, brother, because yeah. Okay. All right. We certainly appreciate that. You know what? And that's the thing about Black Comic Lords. If you guys know of some stuff that's coming out or whatever, let us know. We don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't go down that rabbit hole like Paul. Paul is our worst. Paul and Herschel are them the two dudes that, you know, they know about every book that's coming out, or they, you know, most of the time. And you know, but no, I didn't know about that. But I'm definitely gonna look for it. It definitely looks dope. You're right, Dion. So yeah, this is somebody trying to sell. I ain't mad at that. Who am I gonna knock the hustle? I'm not gonna knock the hustle, man. But look, I got to get out of here, man. I sure appreciate y'all hanging out with me on tonight. And again, like I said, it's been 5 years since Black Lightning has had a book. DC, come on, make it happen. But stay tuned for Tuesday on March the 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Stephanie Williams in the building and Yasmin Flores Montanez talking about the Milestone 30 books. So please, please, please join us. It's going to be a dope conversation. And remember, like I said earlier, they will probably talk about Wonder Woman 75 in their conversation. Funny thing is, I wasn't even thinking about this interview when I chose this book. I just wanted to pull out that book because, again, Newbie has been getting a lot of love lately. And yeah, so that's what's up. So check out for that. And also, please, 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 check out Wakanda Whiskey and Blurredom on Friday nights. Yours truly, every Sunday night. And every quarterly, Black Comic Lords Ladies Live. And the ladies got a dope show coming up, and they got some dope interviews coming up as well. Those are a couple of our recent specials. We talked to Jeffrey Thorne. We talked to John Jennings, of course, about Ghostlight, Rodney Barnes. And recently, the Giles interview. That was a dope interview, very, very short. Lamar Giles, Static Up All Night, is putting out a graphic novel, YA graphic novel. But it looks like it's going to be pretty amazing. So I'm definitely going to pick that up. And of course, Dr. Eve Ewan, who's getting ready to write Black Panther. We got her live on there as well. So, and a whole lot more. Evan Narcisse and Chris Cross recently too. That was a dope conversation. Yeah, Paul, and they went ocean floor deep in that book. So yeah, y'all go check all of that stuff out. And lastly, please pre-order your books. Order them by the final cutoff day. And, you know, add a pull list. Because if you do not put these books on your pull list, they don't get counted as sales. I just think that's crazy, but that's the industry. That's the industry. So please do that. Make that happen. So we're going to go ahead and get on out of here with the benediction. I want to leave you with this. Proverbs 26:4 says, don't answer a fool according to his foolishness, or you'll be like him yourself. Okay? And again, I'm going to say that. Don't answer a fool according to his foolishness, or you'll be like him yourself. From the fortress that in the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever, it's your boy Rich. We out of here, man. Love you. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, we say peace. Be easy. We out.